Hello and good evening. Welcome to Unlocking Finance with your financial friend. My name is Ntombi, and tonight we are continuing with our tax season series, and we are going to be covering a different part or an interesting part of the tax season series. Up until now, we've spoken about timing, we've spoken about auto assessments, and we've spoken about how systems work and how people sometimes misunderstand convenience for completion. But tonight we're going to shift our focus a little bit, and we're not just going to be talking about tax compliance. We are talking about something far more personal. We're talking about money that may already belong to you, but is still sitting in the system, unclaimed, unnoticed, untouched, and sometimes completely forgotten. So now let me ask you something simple. How many people do you think walk through tax season every year believing one thing? I don't think anything will come out of this for me. A refund feels like something for other people at times. People with big salaries, with complicated investments, people with accountants. But what if I told you that in many cases, refunds are not about how much you earn. They are about how well your financial activity is recorded and claimed. And that changes everything. Now, what is a tax refund really? Let's start at the foundation. A tax refund happens when you have paid more tax during the year than what you were supposed to pay. That's really it. The simple definition. It's not a bonus. It's not free money. It's not a reward. It's a reward of, let's just say it's reconciliation. It's a correction. It's a balancing of accounts between you and the tax system. Think of it like this. If you paid for something twice by mistake, and later the system realizes the error, the money returned is not a gift. It is what was already yours. That is what a refund is. Now, why do people miss their own money? Here is where it becomes interesting. Most of us assume if I had money to claim, SARS would automatically give it to me. But tax systems don't work like that. Tax systems are built on data, submissions, declarations, and verification. And if something is not submitted, recorded, or linked correctly, it does not automatically reflect as a benefit. And this is where hidden money lives. Not because it's a secret, but because it is unclaimed. Now let's break down something very important. The invisible gap between what you earn and what you claim. Now your financial life has layers. For example, your income, expenses, contributions, your deductions, investments, medical usage, your retirement contributions. But tax systems only work with what is visible to them. So if your income is recorded, but your deductions are not, or your contributions exist but are not linked properly, or your medical expenses are not fully captured, then a gap is created. And in that gap, money can be sitting quietly. Now, if I bring this a bit closer, imagine two people earning the same salary, same job title, same company, and same income bracket. But one person keeps records, tracks contributions, understands deductions, and engages with their tax return. And the other one accepts everything as it is, assumes everything is already accounted for, or never checks for adjustments. At the end of tax season, they do not get the same outcome, not because they earned differently, but because they participated in it differently. Now, here are some of the common areas where money is missed, unknowingly missing value in your tax returns. Number one, retirement contributions. Many of us contribute towards retirement funds, but do not fully understand how tax relief applies. These contributions can sometimes reduce taxable income, but if it's not properly reflected or claimed, the benefit is diluted. Number two, medical expenses. Often we think of medical aid as a tax factor, but additional qualifying medical expenses can matter in certain scenarios. However, if it's not properly recorded, they may not reflect correctly. Number three, your multiple income sources. So you could get, side incomes, and it's becoming more and more common, like freelancing. I know a lot of people are into photography, and, other income streams, consulting, tutoring, digital work, small businesses. If this is not properly declared or consolidated, the system cannot fully reconcile your position. Number 4, employer reporting errors. Believe it or not, it does happen. Even organizations can make mistakes. Incorrect IRP5 submissions or benefit classifications or timing allocations. These errors can affect your final tax outcome. Number 5, the lack of supporting documentation. Sometimes the information does exist, but it's not submitted in a way that can be processed. And if it's not processed, it cannot be claimed. Now, let me say something here for you. The system is not trying to hide money from you, but it's also not going to look for what you did not present. The responsibility still remains yours, not in a stressful way, but in a more informed way. Now, one of the most common statements during tax season that I hear is, I checked my return, but nothing changed. But often that conclusion comes from a limited review. Because at times we may accept auto assessments too quickly, or we do not compare full data, or we don't check supporting records, or we do not understand deduction eligibility. So we conclude there's nothing for me here. When in reality, what you're actually saying is you did not engage deeply enough to see if anything is missing. And that is a very different statement. Understand that tax returns are not just refunds, they're for alignment. So to expand this perspective, a tax return is not about getting money back. It's about alignment. It answers the following 4 questions. Did you pay the correct amount? Was your income properly recorded? Were your contributions recognized? Were your deductions applied correctly? So even when there is no refund, there's still value in accuracy, because accuracy protects you later. Now let me pause here and speak directly to you as your financial friend. Many of us think financial systems are about big wins, but most financial stability comes from small corrections, consistent awareness, and annual alignment. Tax season is one of those moments. It's a checkpoint, not just a payout moment. I don't want you to approach tax season hoping for money, and I don't want you to approach it fearing loss. I want you to approach it with a sober mind, because a sober mind does change outcomes. So when you know what to look for, when you know what to check, what to question, what to verify, you stop being passive and you become intentional. And this is why this matters beyond tax season. The habits you build during tax season do not just stay in tax season. They carry over into your budgeting, into your saving, your investing, your debt management, your retirement planning, because the same principle applies everywhere. If you do not track it, you cannot optimize it. I'll say that again. If you do not track it, you cannot optimize it. And if you cannot optimize it, you cannot grow it effectively. Now, when people miss opportunities in tax returns, it's not about money. It's about confidence in financial systems. It's about trust in personal financial management. It's willingness to engage with documentation and long-term financial discipline. And slowly, people disconnect from their own financial lives, not because they're incapable, but because they are disengaged. So here's the key that I'm giving you for this week. Your tax return is not just a form. It's a reflection of your financial visibility. Hidden money is not always hidden. It can often be unclaimed. Awareness is what turns your information into value. Next week, we're going to close this series by zooming out, because tax season is not the beginning of financial discipline, and it's not the end either. It's a mirror, a reflection of habits built throughout the year. And then we will talk about what it truly means to stay financially prepared beyond filing season. Well, that is it for me, your financial friend. Thank you so much for joining me on Unlocking Finance with your financial friend. My name is Ndombi, and I'll see you at the next one. Thank you. Have a good evening. God bless.